Yo, what is up, you guys? APJ here, and I'm back again with another profile. And today, I have a special one. I have a Gigavise deck list. Now, this is for Edison format, obviously. Gigavise has been pretty fun. I've been playing the deck, and I built it to where a few cards have changed, but the main objective of the deck is the same. You Lone Fire Supervise, and you win the game. But this deck is pretty fun, and I'm going to showcase it. So for the main deck, 40 cards, obviously. In this deck, 40 is very important. The best card in the deck, 2 Lone Fire Blossom. This card just enables your whole combo. This card accessing all your playing cards in the deck is just broken. So you try and loop this card in this deck, which is why the deck works. 2 Lone Fire. 2 Dandelion for your other important plant. This card is good, but for a different reason. It's good because it's a good outlet for discard, for DDR, and for your Regeki breaks. But also it's good because the tokens you get add protection to your Titanial. But also you can use the tokens to combo with Super Solar Nutrient. So Dandelion is really good in your deck, but for not the same reasons as Lone Fire. So you would still play 3 copies if you can of each, but their uses are different. And then the Titanial, this card is insane because it's a boss monster you can run in your deck that adds protection to your board. Really important for your deck. It's very annoying for a lot of decks to out. Um, I like it a lot because this plus Gigaplant adds a 2-turn clock to your opponent, so it's really nice for that too as well. And tributing a Gigaplant that has Supervise equipped is really good as well with this card. It adds a lot of pressure to your opponent. And the thing is with this card is that it's so good in your deck because they have to deal with this and Gigaplant, but it's very hard to with Titanial up. So that's why this card is so oppressive in this deck. And then for your other cards for the deck are your last 4 monsters, which I play are Copy Plant, the Nettles as your 2 tuners. These are the only tuners you need. Copy Plant gets you access to your 4s because you can use it plus one of the 3s to go into a 4. It can also get you access to 6s because you can copy one of the 3s and then synchro with them. But it also gets you access to the 7s because you can synchro with your Gigaplants and itself, or copy a Gigaplant and synchro with a Dandy token. So this card is really good for that. And then the Nettles gets you access to 5s because you can synchro this with one of the 3s. It can get you access to 8s with the Gigaplant as well. And that's why you play both of these tuners. And these are the only ones you need because once you have access to them, Gigaplant gets them back from the graveyard. So you only need 1 of each. And then double Gigaplant because this card is not a starter. It's a brick, but you don't want to play 1 and draw it, so 2 of it is a perfect number. And that is it for the monsters. I played Sangan and Valley. I tried those cards, but those cards are too slow and don't apply any pressure to your opponent. Don't apply enough consistency to your deck, so I just cut them completely and just play these monsters. These are the only monsters I want. These are the only monsters I use pretty much every single game. The other monsters literally just don't matter in this deck. You don't want other monsters in this deck. You just want your plants. These are the best plants that you need, the only ones that you need. So I think this is a perfect monster lineup. For the spells, 3 Supervise, the best combo card with Gigaplant. This card is obviously insane, and you want to play 3 to guarantee it with Power Tool, but if you already have one, then you need also 2 other cards, 2 more in the deck to hopefully hit it with Power Tool even more. But this card's really important because it enables your combo. 2 DDR and 2 Mark of the Rose for your other equips. DDR is a really good extender as well. It's really good with Gold Sark, but it's also good with Mark of the Rose because this banishes for cost. So that's why DDR is really important as an extender at 2, and 2 Mark of the Rose because this is searchable Snatch Steal, and it enables your DDR to be live as well. So 7 equips is important because you play 2 power tools, so by playing 7 equips, you can resolve 2 power tools multiple times. And you also play 3 Hidden Armory to grab back your Supervises from the graveyard, or any of these from the deck as well. So these are your 10 equip cards. These are the cards you brick on the most, but these are your most powerful cards in the deck, so you have to play this ratio. This is just not an arguable ratio. You need 7 equips and the 3 armories. And then for more consistency for the deck, because armory digs a card deep, 2 cards deeper because it mills the top card and it searches a card. Upstart digs a card deeper. It gets you access to your combo even faster. This card is very important at 3. Definitely 3 of mandatory. And then for your extenders in the deck, I play our 3 Miracle Fertilizers. This card is not always at 3 in some lists, but I think 3 is very warranted. This card is very insane because you also have cards like Super Solar Nutrient and Foolish Burial to combo with without your normal summon. Sorry, a plane is going by. But yeah, these cards help you combo without your normal summon. So that's why I really like Miracle Fertilizer, because if they stop a play where you Sarked Lone Fire and then DDR the Lone Fire back and you have Supervise, if they stop that, then you have Miracle Fert as an extender. Same thing with Super Solar. If you attribute a Dandy token, summon Lone Fire, and they stop the Giga Plant or they stop a Titanio, then you can bring it back with Miracle Fertilizer. So I really like this card at 3 because it's basically like Miracle Fusion in your deck. It's the best top deck in your deck. So why wouldn't you play 3? And then 3 Super Solar Nutrient and Foolish Burial to help you combo more. These cards are really good when you have Lone Fire in deck, but these cards are the worst card in your deck once you go through Lone Fire. So that is the downside of these cards, but these cards do enable you to combo, so that's why you still need to play them because they are very important for your deck. And then Double Gold Sark. This card's insane in your deck. The cards that I usually Gold Sark for are the last 2 spells, which are Heavy and Trunade, but also I Gold Sark for Foolish, Super Solar Nutrient, Miracle Fertilizer, Supervise, and Lone Fire. These are the main 5 cards that I've Gold Sarked for, other than these 2, obviously. So these 7 are the cards that you can Gold Sark for that come up. These obviously to just take care of the back row. This because you have this, or this because you have this, or ways to access tokens. This as an extender if you already have everything, and then these 2 when you're missing the other piece. So yeah, Gold Sark is insane in your deck for grabbing any of those cards. And then the last 2 cards are the Heavy and Trunade, like I said. These cards are very important. I don't play MST because these cards are just better. They just take care of everything. So yeah, I'd rather just draw these instead of MST. Against the matchup where I need MST, I side deck into it, obviously. But in the main deck, I don't think you need it because you also play 3 Great Key Breaks going into the trap cards. This card, and I play Mirror Force as my only 4 defensive traps. I don't think traps are good in this deck for a multitude of reasons. I think Regeki Break is important, though, because you play 3 Miracle Fertilizers, but you also play Dandelion, so you have actually a lot of good discards in this deck. You also search, you also have equip cards that you can't use in your hand, so those are also free discards for your deck. So that's why I really like the Regeki Break as the only discard outlet, because I was playing Wing Blast before, but then Wing Blast was very, very bad for me, so I didn't like it and I changed it for Regeki Break, and this has been way better for me because it deals with depression and it deals with Dyna better. I'd rather not put it on the top of their deck. I'd rather just deal with the problem. And same thing with Mirror Force. This card is like the best protection to have with the board, so that's why I play this. And before, I was playing Solemn Judgment and Trap Dustard in the main deck, but then I realized those cards are very greedy to play in the main because they're only really good going first. Going second, they provide no value. So I cut them from my deck, and I play 3 Reckless Greed instead, because this was an idea that I had of a while ago where I didn't agree with Gigavise playing a lot of trap cards, but most of the list played like 6 to 7 trap cards. I think 4 is correct because these are the only ones that you still are okay with drawing off of Reckless. The other trap cards you're not okay with drawing. Trap Dusher you don't want to draw, and you want to start with that card. And same thing with Judgment. You want to start with those cards. You don't want to draw into them. These are the cards that you're still okay with drawing because they're still able to resolve when you do draw them consistently. So that's why I'm okay with drawing these. And playing the Reckless with them. But I wanted to play the Reckless just to add more consistency to the deck, because drawing 2 cards in this deck is very powerful, but also because of the Fork deck, they're able to play Reckless with no defense, but they have more cards that they are able to play, and they have a bigger engine. Your engine is not as big as theirs, so your cards are not, you're not able to run as many good cards as them, because they're able to run 3 Pot of Avarice, 3 Salvage, 3 Moria of Greed. You don't have access to any of those cards. You just have Upstarts plus Reckless and Miracle Fertilizer. Those are your only generic cards that you're able to play, plus Super Solar. But that's why I felt like if their deck can run it and they play no defense, but my deck plays some defense, not as much, which is why I cut down on the traps to be able to run this card. And this card has been very, very good. Drawing into my combo just more often and drawing into playable cards more often is just very strong in this deck, especially when I'm playing Upstart already. So my deck is super thin because I play Upstart, this, and Hidden Armory. Lone Fire gets cards out of my deck, like Super Solar gets cards out of my deck. So this card is very good in this deck. And that's it for the main deck, 40 cards. This is my take on Gigavise by adding the Recklesses and not playing Sangan and Valley and stuff like that. For the side deck, I play 3 DD Crow as my only monster as well. This is something that is not standard either. I really do think DD Crow is just the best monster to side, because the thing is, in this deck, you don't want to play any monsters in this deck that are not plants. It's really bad, because all of your cards synergize with plant cards. You don't want to play any monster in this deck that's not a plant card. So DD Crow is the only exception, because it's one of the only cards that interact with Forgs on their turn. This hitting the Avarice targets, but also hitting Fishborg Blaster is very important. So that's why I wanted to play 3, because I really want to see it against that matchup. Against other matchups, it's okay, but mainly for Forgs is why I have this in here at 3. Other than that, like, you can side it against Vayu. It's okay against that match. I only sided against Vayu going first, because I have no other cards to put in, and it's because I side Decree, which I'll get into later. But going second, I want to side it in against Vayu. Against other matches is good though, but mainly in here for Forgs. And then for my spells, I run our Autonomous. This card's broken. It's really good against decks that mill and play Dyna, because then I could just take their Dyna when they mill it. Also against Lone Fire matchups, I just take their Lone Fire and full combo with it. Against Titanial decks, against Amaryllis, take their Titanial. I don't even need the Lone Fire. I could just take their Titanial. They have to deal with it now. And it turns out they're Miracle Fertilizer, which is really nice. So really good against plant mirrors, but also good against certain other matchups too. And then Lightning Vortex, this card helps you out. Certain boards that you're scared of going second against, like a Duke Block could be annoying going second, so you get rid of it. Lightsworn deck could be annoying going second because they can mill multiple wolves in their turn, and then you could just clear all the wolves plus their other Lightsworn names. So this card's good going second, but you only need 1. And my body, because this card helps you play around Bottomless, Torrential, and Mirror Force against the decks that you're scared of those cards against, and also good against Lightsworns and GBs. And then the MST as just extra outs to the back row, with the double Decrees going into the traps. The Decree is really good, even though you're playing 7 traps in the main deck, and I side a lot of traps as well. Decree is still only really good against decks going first. I don't like it going second against a lot of decks, so that's why I still side deck a lot of traps. But going first, this is one of the best cards to just side in, because this plus Trap Dust Shoot and Judgment, these are the other cards that I side in for going first. Just these 4 cards are just auto wins against a lot of decks going first. And I'm okay with like siding these 2 with these 2, because you just want to see one of them as an auto win going first. So these are the cards that I usually side in going first. I usually never side this in going second. And then the other trap cards that I play are Double Prison and Double Karma Cut as the last cards in my side deck. I really like both of these. The Karma Cut is really good against frogs, just extra hate against them because this deals with their Treeborn Frog. You don't really want a DD Crow Treeborn Frog, you rather Karma Cut it, so this deals with that. But they also help you deal with Lightstorm monsters and Dyna and Vanity's Fiend, but also help you deal with floaters and fairies, because fairies could be a tough matchup too, and these cards help you against the fairy matchup. So these cards are just very versatile, but very good into the format, so that's why I like these cards a lot, because these cards basically take care of the decks that you don't want to side decree against, but still want to have removal. So these cards, siding these cards, help you a lot against those matchups, or DD Crow wouldn't be enough. And that's over the side. For the extra deck, I have my tokens. And then the Armory Arm. This card barely comes up, but you can make it, obviously. These two cards come up a lot, surprisingly. So, this card is not standard. Usually they just play Cataster, but I like playing both because they both come up for me. Goyo and Brio. Both of these cards come up, but not too often because they are hard to make. Black Rose's card is insane in this deck because you can also make Black Rose Chainlink 2 in this deck, since Supervise will be Chainlink 1 since it's mandatory, so you can make everything miss timing. When you summon this card, it's really good. And then continue with the Giga Plan that you get back. It's broken. Double Power Tool. This card's insane. This card just gets you access to all your equips and puts the most pressure on your opponent because it gets you a +1 every turn. So if they don't clear it, another +1. One Brute Draco. You only need one of this card. Don't need two, I don't think. Maybe against, like, in a grindy matchup, you need two. But I feel like if you're in a grind game with this deck, you're already in a losing position. And against the decks that, like, want to go into the grind game, against decks that don't want to go into a grind game, and you're in a grind game with them, you're going to win because you have better top decks like Miracle and stuff like that. But against decks that want to go into a grind game, that make you summon two of this, like, you're already probably losing that game anyway. So that's why two doesn't come up. So it's a really good card, though. It's really sticky, and it brings back Gigaplant when it dies. It's 3K as well. And then I play the Colossal Fighter. Comes up sometimes. Good to have. The Red Dragon. This card is really good. Helps you OTK. Really good card. Double Stardust. You definitely need two of this because you make one on your first turn if you open combo. And then if they deal with it, you need a second one for the follow-up. So two definitely comes up. And then the Thought Ruler as the last 8. Comes up sometimes to play around. Mark of the Rose as well, plus Brain Control. And the last one is Mistworm. The cards that I don't play are Gothams. I played the Android over Gothams because that card came up way more than Gothams ever came up. I don't think Gothams came up once, so I don't play it. Everything else came up. That was pretty good. And that was it for the deck. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. But other than that, it's your boy APJ signing out. Doses!